multiverse listeners, and welcome back to Beyond Your Radio. It's Unknown Sundays. It's time to talk about another band, artist, or something in the music multiverse that might be relatively unknown to some. The missed, our watchers, collectors, and listeners might be very interested in a rabbit hole to go down, past or present. Please remember this is an extension of the article sections of beyondyourradio.com. That's right. This article is written there by me if you wish to have all the links and intricacies, because they're there as well. There's some this week. So let's first of all say, the Grateful Dude is dropping by, and it throws me because usually these Unknown Sundays, it's just me, myself, and I. But I'm glad the Grateful Dude joined in on this one. This is a large scope project here. This one. So we'll find out what he thinks of our particular band today. So let's do the opposite of what I normally do on these Unknown Sundays. Usually it's about something in my collection, where I found it, how it came to be, the chance I took, or in most cases, straight up not knowing a damn thing. And in this case, not knowing a damn thing, but in the present. So here's this band. Won't mention them at the moment, but you can see them read. This is a special one because the band itself has been around since 1989. And this is right in the wheelhouse of my fever of purchasing began. Awareness, consumption, where I truly went and, from standard stuff to hopeful stuff to small inclusions to off the bloody rails, anything goes. And a few weeks ago, based on the music multiverse travels, I go into music stores, rabbit holes, online retailers. Yes. The Professor of Prague, that guy's an incredible, vast knowledge and resource for me. YouTube channels, you know who you all are, and you're much loved and appreciated as you're crushing my little channel. But on the honesty of those music lovers in social media platforms, especially Twitter, or X as it's called now, where they're not afraid to bring out obscurity and plaster it multiple times, crying to the music heavens the greatness of the performer or the band and the name too. So where would I be without you? Well, nowhere near Beyond Your Radio, that's for sure. I kept hearing this band's name. It's a pretty damn good name too. I thought I'd heard it in my years, and I'm making up a new word, Mr. Dude. I'm making up a new word. It's called years. It's YHEARS. So it's a combination of years and hears. Right? Yeah, the dictionary is just going to drop everything it's doing and add that for me. But here's this travels, record store browsing and listening and participating in a different progressive and rock discussions. I hear this band. In fact, I'm sort of remembering someone mentioning them as one of those bands that should have been huge in comparison to some of those in this arena that made it pretty big. So what I do, I bought the entire bullet. Yeah, it's right. I purchased 9 albums as a more than fair price. And instead of taking a taste, I swallowed the entire casserole of the band's offering, not even truly realizing that they'd actually release an album this year. So throw that in, and here we are. This is Motorpsycho on Unknown Sundays 2025, discovered in its entirety this year over the last 3 weeks. And the Grateful Dude jumped in on the same boat, although he didn't have to purchase anything. For those that know and have a deep appreciation for the longevity and continual progressive rock, metal, rock, progressive folk, yep, that's in there, grunge, progressive pop, and even bluegrass picking. What? Country, rockabilly? Yeah, that's on the Tussler soundtrack. I don't know if we're going to get into that. We'll find out. I know I'm like fat bastard at a buffet when it comes to this area of the world right now, right? Norwegian. I just swallow anything Norwegian. I gotta have it all. So interesting part though here is they're formed in 1989, and their first release, Lobotomizer, in 1991, legitimate release. It's a heavy stoner rock meets grunge and organ throwback to the 60s and early 70s, and it's a, you know, it's an interesting, it's got like this classic sound that seems like it came from North America in some way somehow. Like, I don't know. It's highly criminal for the year and placement of it, to be honest with you. Um, just listen to Hogwash. And feel that Jimi Hendrix meets the Doors and Sabbath. Incredible, and probably the place where this generation of music lovers should start or should have started. All right. Because this catalog goes on to, like I said, 2025. Trust me. Okay. And you'll have this idea of, I don't know. Let's get this out of the way. When all of you people are bitching, all right, about grunge and how it destroyed music, this is during the grunge time that this album came out, okay? And it has these tendencies. So while you were crying your King Crimson and Black Sabbath cream and shit was gone, this was happening, and it's right up your alley. So shame on you for not backing this band, and then shame on me for not even finding them until now. So own it. Get it. Hogwash is 8 minutes plus, and the other long track, TFC, well, that's 11 minutes, taking on some of the same, but washing it with this mood, atmospheric grunge. It just takes on an entirely unleaded or leadedly manifesto, if you will, of the Led Zeppelin kind of thing. By 1993, they decide a double album, Dreambox, or no, Demon Box, Dreambox. That's an entirely different thing, which actually starts with a folk, intoxicated, Tullian acoustic artmanship, providing virtuosity, a Western tilt, and completely all-in, anything-goes musical inclusions. The band saw a very large following that went from Germany to Belgium, and of course, Norwegian and Scandinavian areas. They were fearless. They seemingly did whatever the hell they wanted to do in any genre, any songwriting effect. I mean, I hear Seattle, but I also hear Soundgarden mixed with Faith No More, and that kind of goes in if you listen to Feed Time, which you have to recall this album opened with a folk song to start. It's just, I don't know, it's diabolical to some degree. And this Demon Box is, 1993, probably described as maybe a hint over ambitious at its time, but certainly Eastern North American music listener kind of going on here, which leads us to the ever-changing vocal presence that seems to be on this record between these two gentlemen. I'm going to butcher their names. Hans Magnus Snans Ryan, the band's total frontman on guitar, vocals, songwriter, as well as Bent Sather. He's bent, huh? He's the bassist, but he also loves to provide vocals. He's got guitars, organ, synth, bass, percussion, cymbals, even toy piano. Yeah, where do you pull that one out of, right? Whatever was called upon, apparently, to make their sound soar, blur, blister, peel, or rock, they do it. Hans also liked a bit of violin. He did sitar, mandolin, and flute. So why not, I don't know, why not learn to play that too, right? Apparently, though, here's the fun part. Both men drove a Taurus. No, not the Ford Taurus. This is that instrument, that organ or synthesizer that's done by a foot pedal. So there you have it. Like all the way up till 2025. Here they are, right? So don't expect a Beyond Your Radio catalog review because I'm thinking this is 20 some albums, 24, 25, depending on how you slice it up. 25, yeah. Yeah, this was an incredible feast. So I hand the Grateful Dude over with all these albums. I know we didn't get to all 25. I certainly didn't either, but
I did.
you did. I was a couple short. So
It was. I had a lot to do in the kitchen yesterday, so I plugged it in the headphones, and I listened, and I listened, and I listened, and I listened more. And I ended up doing the last two albums today, 24 and 25.
okay.
But
Did you do it in progression? Did you start from the beginning to the end?
absolutely, it's the only way to do
Okay.
it.
All right.
Um,
Nice.
I wow. You got a cross between Jimi Hendrix, the uh, Everly Brothers,
Hmm.
and Johnny Cash, all rolled and smashed into one. This is the weirdest freaking compilation I've ever heard. If you hear album one and one and number seven, let's say, for edification, it doesn't sound anything alike, nothing alike. I don't know where they're coming from. I still don't. I listened to the music. I enjoyed about 80% of it. I enjoyed.
I would agree. I would come to that. Yeah. There's a lot.
Um, the sound, the musicians themselves play very, very well.
Lady May, sweet rain or shine, come on out and make the morning shine. Where you wander, wherever you go to, there's a truth so deep it's stuck to you.
There's no question there. No question in my mind. Production value is good. Um, um, I just wish, honestly, they would come to a cohesive direction because they're non-cohesive. This is it's just it's like, okay, I woke up this morning. Oh, let me grab this. Oh, let me do this. Let me do this. Jesus Christ, get a fucking your act together. I swear to you, I was
Yeah.
boosh, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. You can't scratch your you scratch your head over like where did this come from? How did this come to pass? Although I'll give some details here as we go on, but yeah, it is yeah, there's no telling. I mean, especially the soundtrack, the tussle that rockabilly picking thing, and then they did another. Well, I'll get to it in a bit. It was which was a dance thing, and
Yeah.
I those poor bastards who had to dance to that. Whoa! Someone died. I'm pretty sure, because there is some moments of metal guitar bucket head kind of stuff going on, and if you're dancing to that, limbs were broken. So, you know,
It's just the first album is kind of rockish,
mhm.
kind of slow, and then the second album, which is um the title throws it off completely. Um, but I don't know. I do not know. I still
Yeah.
scratch in my. I listened to a lot of this last hour. I listened to um, Points of Value album, and I just figure these guys are freaking nuts.
Norwegian nuts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, roasted on open fire, baby.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the only way.
Well,
I
is this like a restaurant that has too many dishes?
Yep, it's a buffet gone mad.
Yeah. All right. So it comes in again the year 2000, which we know is another era of change in music, right? So here's this 90s thing where they're kind of pushing, you know, those kind of sounds and getting the heavy stuff. But in 2000, I believe when you look at bands like Motorpsycho, from the ear of listening to them, the first time you take into consideration the need for clearer, cleaner, progressive inclusion. So instrumentation reaches kind of symphonic additions in this era, even jazz-like emotion, and moving away from the attacking vocals that plagued their 90s records because they fit it to some degree. I mean, those had those harsher vocals concepts, right? Let Them Eat Cake brings in the sounds of orchestra. You got horns as well as different guitar sounds that they hadn't had prior. But not lighter, but definitely more jazz driven or maybe less alternative and less grungy. A link between progressive rock, folk, lighter, less dense or heavy indie rock. The melodies were higher. They were even Beatles-esque if you listen to Big Surprise.
Joke. Mistakes too small a word. So small. I've never seen you quite so small. So small.
That had it just brings out the chameleon of these two guys that just seem to be able to feed in and out of each other, carving out new sounds that were freer, they were deeper, which then leads the duo into this even deeper waters of jazz and soundscapes, which is the one that I want to get. I don't have it, the Death Defying Unicorn. That was in 2016. This is a sonically charged theatrical play kind of thing. I don't know, just the jazz soundscapes and stuff. And then you get into 2017 and it's Beginelser, which I just talked about. You know, this is just off the walls kind of stuff. It's strange accompaniments, cinematic elements. This is kind of like for fans of like Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. They would love this stuff. There's no Stone Gossard or Mike McCready signature here. And this is your kind of problem. Motorpsycho never comes to a sound that is their own, or you know, and I think like we just said about the buffets and that, you know, it's too much. And you're not immediately when you hear Stone Gossard or Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, you know it's Pearl Jam, right? You hear Eddie Vedder, it's Pearl Jam. Just to give you an example of where I'm going with this, Chris Cornell, right, or even that of prog bands like Riverside or Airbag, who are foreign to us in a way across the pond. Sometimes that sound doesn't come right away. You're trying to develop it. You know, Pearl Jam, it kind of came right away. Soundgarden, maybe not so much until a little bit mid beginning, but sometimes the cult following and appreciation of fantastic musicianship and brilliant togetherness in it is enough to sustain a band, an artist. It's an adventure, which is what Motorpsycho is more so. Hey, it was even enough to get me to purchase half the catalog, right? So there's just an overwhelming variety, which is, you know, yeah, it's you know, so in 2017, creativity got the conceptual better of the duo, pressing them into an arc of 3 albums, okay, that I will consider the most progressive of their catalog, just to give you an idea if that's where you want to start, because like the Grateful Dude came from beginning to end. The Tower, it would lead to the Crucible, which would lead to the All in One, All is One in 2020. So you got, I think it's 17, 19, and 20, maybe somewhere in there. The Virtuosity, Audio Landscape, these were well put together and put together pieces. And all of that was centered around Akon Gullveg, the painter. So, you know, certainly progressive rock with an all musical hands on deck, kind of controlling the scope and the range. It's probably the most cohesive that the band has been for a stretch. But, you know, you listen to these last records. Did you After having all these albums that you're going to, did you like them more now?
Um, it's hard to say. It really is. Because they're so mixed up. That you could actually think there's 5 bands going on and different albums. Different albums, it's a different band. Now, if you look at the list of the cast of characters here, they have added every album,
Yeah,
every
somebody,
album.
right. Mhm.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, or 5 or 7 extra people, so that could change the makeup of a band.
Yeah.
On the album, what was it? 8 Soothing Songs for Ruth.
Yeah, the
Okay,
second album.
yeah, they ended up doing California Dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird, strange version of it, but
Yes.
yeah, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I would say, honestly, for somebody who this album would be perfect for Jeff.
All right. Yeah, that album had some some definite 90s hoopla. Yeah, yeah. So my current favorite, however, falls into 2022, and that was Ancient Astronauts. It just carries a heavy progressive statement, I think, like 1969 to 73 kind of fit. I just like it. The instrumental truth of delivering an album that can be heard as today, but sound like then, and considering that this was the album that was put together for a dance party. It's especially I believe that song is Mona Lisa Azrael. The guitar insanity it reaches, it meets like Praxis meets Mars Volta. You know, it's got this manifesto kind of thing with percussion. It's just exceptional. That one caught me. So Motorpsycho is the perfect example of a tale of music's loves, labors lost. To quote Shakespeare, while it's not lost on those that love the search, knowing it's out there, it has to be out there. More progressive rock, classic rock, true passionate compositions, feeling their way through the beauty and explorative past to make an impression on the present. Because this band starts in '89, and we all know the greatest progressive rock that was ever formed was done in the '60s and the '70s. You know, that's the nomen. That's what we all know to be true. Okay. The creative monster that Motorpsycho continues to be after 36 years in the art of music career warfare is an amazing accomplishment, to be honest with you. Just listen to the live delivery that you can get on the on our website. I have a live clip from the band on the song "The Transmutation of the Cosmoctopus Lurker." If you if you don't think they're progressive, that's a progressively named song, right? This is today. This is this moment. They have a catalog that is very intriguing, challenging, and a beautiful arc of creativity that holds the very fabric of what it means to be a progressive musician or a progressive band. Yay to them. I know they do not have a signature sound, but that's more so that yay is for us, that what they provide seemingly almost every year. I would seek them out if I were you and enjoy. What's your final word, Grateful Dude?
Well, my final word is wow. I can't believe I got through the whole catalog. It was fun. It was interesting, and my favorite, if I have to pick a favorite of all those albums I digested, it would be number 2. I like that the best.
So the very one with the 8 songs for Root, right? Something like that. 8 songs, something
Yep.
for Root. Well, here, I'll give you
Yeah.
the I always do this at the end. So it began with Lobotomizer in 1991, followed by 8 soothing songs for Root, 1992. Demon Box, the double CD in September of 1993. Timothy's Monster in 94. Blizzard in 1996. Angels and Demons at Play, 1997. Trust Us in 1998. Let Them Eat Cake in 2000. Fane Ruthheim, 2001. That's the toughest one to say. It's a Love Cult in 2002. And then Motorpsycho presents the International Tussler Society in 2004. Yep, that's the picking one. Black Hole, Black Canvas in 2006. Little Lucid Moments in 2008. That is the first one I have in my catalog. Child of the Future in 2009. Heavy Metal Fruit in 2010. I have that record. The Death Defying Unicorn in 2012. I'm seeking that one out. I really enjoyed the digital version of that. Still Life with Eggplant, 2013. Guess what album I didn't listen to? That one. I didn't have time. And by the title alone, I didn't get it. Behind the Sun, March 7th of 2014. I have that one. Here Be Monsters. And Here Be Monsters Volume 2, 2016. I have the first volume. Don't have the second. Began Elser in 2017. I'm probably butchering that. The Tower in 2017 as well. The Crucible in 2019, which I have. The All Is One in 2020. Kingdom of Oblivion in 2021. I have that. Ancient Astronauts 2022. Yep, I got that one. Yay 2023. Yep, I got that one. Look at that. That's the cover that doesn't make any sense to the whole discography, kind of a comedy kind of thing. I don't know. And then Nay, because they did Yay. Why not have Nay? I don't have Nay because I couldn't find it. That's 2024. And then Motorpsycho. That's right. Your album in 2025, after 25 albums, you said, you know what? Let's self-title it finally. Anyway, that's what happens to people like me in music collections. And, today, you were like me days and days and years ago, but I did it all in 3 weeks. And I thank the Grateful Dude for jumping in on this one. It's a lot of work when you're doing this many albums. I promised him it wouldn't be as diabolical next time. So what did you think of Motorpsycho and this long time progressive all-in band that's got everything going on from one end to the other? Please comment, leave us a note or two. I will respond. It always happens. Maybe click the like button, And, of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. I'll see you next week. And I believe the Grateful Dude, you're joining me here or no?
We'll have to see. We'll try.
Well, next week, it's White Horse out of Canada. Husband and wife duo. Good story there. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. We got articles, videos, podcasts very soon, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Even Norwegian bands that have been around for 36 years. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching and happy listening.